Level 1, Residence. A void. That was the best way to describe it. Just emptiness. Emptiness across the dimension. Go to the door. Simon scratched at his ears, unsure whether or not he was hearing things. He looked all around the vacant area. He was somewhere, that was for sure. Simon felt strange, like he wasn't really moving. He wasn't really there. Well, that really depended on what there was. Fog swirled around Simon's ankles, giving the inky void a slightly gray hue. His ankles. There was something missing, wasn't there? Wasn't he supposed to be carrying something? Simon's lips smacked on the open air. He thought that the atmosphere was rather humid. The musty smell of petrichor filled his lungs as he took a deep breath. Where was he? He didn't know, and he couldn't find a reason why he was there in the first place. What did he remember? There was a room with lots of people in it. A room full of silence and words and sounds and stares. It was cold, but now he was here. For some inexplicable reason, Simon seemed to transport between dimensions, or something like that. He felt rather unmoored. Well, what was there to do but walk? Simon sauntered forward, having no clear lead. He didn't even know what direction he was facing. West? South? Despite his innate instinct for nautical latitude and longitude, he couldn't get any sense of it here. Simon trudged through the growing har, looking around for anything that would ground his sense of direction. He walked for a bit, a few minutes at least, until he stumbled upon something. Well, more like stumbled into something. Simon suddenly came to a halt when he bumped his face against a wall. A wall? Or... No, this was something else. Metal? Simon ran his fingers across the cold silver, where he found that the surface was divided down the center with an elongated slit. It was an elevator. An elevator? It wasn't like a normal elevator either. Instead of the doors looking like a cage, it was a full, smooth metal sheet. It looked strangely advanced. Simon felt the odd foreign surface, sweeping away the fog that was desperately trying to engulf it. He looked around for any buttons, but there weren't any. He then swiped his hand down the crack in the door, to which it opened with a bang. Simon shrunk back a bit, startled at the sudden movement. He held his palm on the edge of the frame, hesitating. Simon looked behind him into the void of nothing. Where else would you go? He took a deep breath and fully stepped inside. Simon wondered if he would ever return back to where he was, or what he was, but he didn't have time to think about that as a door softly shut behind him. All Simon could hear was a whir as he felt the elevator lift. He found it strange at the fact that he didn't need to press any buttons. Hell, there weren't any buttons. Simon felt weightless and weirdly tingly, but perhaps that was just the nausea. It seemed to go for a few minutes before the machine came to a sudden stop, causing Simon to lurch forward and smack his nose on the doors again. He barely had enough time to recover before the doors shifted open, almost making him fall. Simon stumbled ahead into whatever this new world bore. He looked out into what was in front of him. It was... something, all right. He couldn't make heads or tails of it. Simon squinted and adjusted his glasses, just to make sure what he was seeing was real. His glasses. There was something off. Something Simon couldn't quite put his finger on. The lenses were clear. Weren't they always clear? The room was constantly moving, shifting. Colors spun around and it looked like the room was melting. He wondered how on earth he ended up in this strange world. Wasn't he just... He didn't remember anymore. But he was somewhere before this, right? Simon stepped into the strange place. It seemed familiar. Was that the right word? There was just something about this place, something that sparked Simon's memories. He looked around more, taking it in. Color swirled and confused Simon's vision, not being able to make out what anything was. He tried squinting, walking forward a bit just to get a better view. Simon couldn't shake the deep feeling of familiarity down to his core. A certain spark of nostalgia struck in Simon's stomach as he walked further inside. He tried to focus on specific things in the room to try to get a grip on the situation. He was able to comprehend a clock? Huh. Yes, there seemed to be a grandfather clock in the corner of the room. Simon stared at it for a moment, trying to focus on where he had seen it before. The hands were stopped, but there was the distinct sound of it still ticking. Can you hear me? What? Simon, you have to listen to me, Simon. Simon's head suddenly filled with whispers that engulfed his entire body. It felt as though the sound was wrapping him up like a snake. Simon's breath hitched as it continued. Do you remember? Are you waiting for me? I'll date mon garçon. The room flickered for a second. Eat, digest me in the stomach. Please forgive me. Simon took a faltered breath and held his head in his hands. His head was spinning, like he was experiencing some sort of vertigo. Sailor. We'll writhe around. We'll climb to the throat only to be swallowed again. Simon peeked through his hands, still covering his face. It was like he was watching a horror film, desperately trying to close his eyes at the scary parts. But this wasn't some sort of movie he could turn off. It was real as he could feel, as real as he could touch and see, but his eyes weren't real, he thought. If they were real, what was he seeing right in front of him? Simon. He saw someone. Something. A shadow quickly danced out of his sight. Do you know how to dance, Simon? Don't worry, I'll show you. Giggles rang out into the hall. Simon's legs shook as he suddenly struggled to stand. He whined as they gave out all at once, making him crumble to the floor. Is something wrong? Everything's fine, my dear. Simon sputtered as the whispers refused to cease, plaguing him with endlessly relentless noise. Please wake up. The words stung him with guilt. What happened to your flower? A guilt that he couldn't understand. Get away from me. More shadows let themselves in the room, but just so that Simon couldn't outright see them, they hid in the corner of his vision, darting away when Simon attempted to look. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? Simon covered his head on the ground. S'il te plaît, sis. It was silent for a moment. Simon, you have to listen to me. Who are you? The Swan. He couldn't hear what it was trying to tell him. The voice struck him with déjà vu, somehow. Familiar, yet strange and unknown. Can't you see me? You know me? Don't you recognize me? It was odd, constantly changing pitch, almost as if the voice itself couldn't decide how to sound. Simon. And the pitch changed once more, deeper this time. Will you come see me again? Did you forget about me already? It's all right. A low hum reverberated in the room. Please come see me again. I don't know how. Go to the door. Please just and all at once the shadows disappeared, and the room's colors vanished. What was left was a stagnant area devoid of life. Was Simon even alive anymore? He didn't know. I don't know. Simon looked behind him. It was still there, the elevator. He took a deep breath and left what he had come to know behind. Whatever this even was. He paused before stepping back in, looking back onto what he was leaving. Is that someone in the corner? He quickly shook his head. Simon stopped searching for whatever he thought he was searching for, and got through the door. All at once, the vague feelings of nostalgia drained from his body. All that was left was a slight tinge of dizziness that still lingered. The elevator doors shut, and Simon was left to look at the only thing there. There was a new button. Inexplicably, an elevator button seemed to pop into existence while he wasn't looking. Simon furrowed his brows and pressed it, bracing for whatever may lay in his future.